Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
You've been sworn in, is that correct?
Yes, sir, I have, Your Honor.
Please, sir. Have a seat right up here.
Thank you, sir.
Get comfortable, pull up your chair, and we'll start the examination.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Can you please state your full name for the record?
Yes, it's Francisco Lara.
Okay, and how are you employed?
I'm employed as a Border Patrol agent.
And how long have you been employed as an agent?
In October, it'll be 12 years.
What are your duties and responsibilities?
My responsibilities are to deter terrorists and terrorist weapons from coming into the United States, and also to safeguard our borders from illegal activities that attempt to bypass legal frontiers or ports of entries, meaning human smuggling or human or contraband smuggling.
Prior to the Border Patrol, work with any other law enforcement agencies?
I was with the military for 4 years. I was in the Marine Corps. And prior to that, I was with the Transportation Security Agency for approximately a year and a half as a federal officer.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you, sir.
On April the 9th of 2018, were you employed as a Border Patrol agent?
Yes, I was.
Were you a supervisor?
No, I was not.
I want to go back to that day. Where did you report to that day?
I reported to the Laredo North Border Patrol Station.
At what time was your tour?
My tour started at 6 in the morning and it lasted till 4 in the afternoon.
Okay. Were you present for muster that day?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And what, did you get assigned an area that day?
As far as the area, my duties that day were to pretty much take care of 4 new hires, 4 new recruits that had been barely employed and were about to go to the academy. So my job that day was pretty much to take care of them at the old Border Patrol Station on Zapata Highway. It's for the South Station. We call it Old Base 7. My job that day were to pretty much take care of them while they get sworn in.
So kind of field trained?
Yes, I was a field training officer. Still currently am.
I'm sorry?
I'm still a field training officer right now.
Okay, so you still do field training?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you have a new recruit with you that day?
Yes, sir, I did.
And what was his name?
Johnny L. Smith.
Okay. And did you at any time that day visit Father Magdebo Park?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And how did you arrive at Father Magdebo Park?
I want to say by pure coincidence. My duties, like I said, were to be at the old the South Station. I was supposed to be there as long as it took for the new recruits to get sworn in, speak to the chiefs, fill out some paperwork, and then a lot of times we're there all day. But thankfully that day around between 10 and 10:30, my team leader told me to pretty much start training my new recruit, my new field training, my trainee, Johnny L. Smith. He told me that he would take care of the new hires and for me to go to the field and commence his training.
Okay. Are you familiar with someone by the name of Ronald Anthony Burgos-Aviles?
Yes.
How are you familiar with him?
He was my supervisor on that particular day.
Okay. Do you see him in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
And can you point out an article of clothing that he is wearing?
Black coat with black, might be a silver tie.
That's the
Silver shirt, I'm sorry.
Okay. The record reflect that he's identified Ronald Anthony Burgos-Aviles in the courtroom. Now, you say he was your supervisor that day?
Yes.
Did you have any contact with him prior to to going to Father McAvoy Park that morning?
Only at muster. He gave he didn't give muster, but he was present at muster.
And what happened at muster? Do you recall?
We show up, they give the actual field agents their assignments for that day. And I believe whether it was the supervisor leading muster or the watch commander asked him if they had anything to say. I remember him speaking that morning. I think he gave us some words of things to do. I forgot what it was as far as our duties. And that's how I remember him that day, that he was present at muster.
Had he been your supervisor previous to this day?
Yes.
How long had you worked under his supervision, if you can recall? Or how many times?
I guess as far, like, I don't remember exactly when he became a supervisor, but however long he was a supervisor, however many years or months he was a supervisor prior to that day, April 9th, 2018.
Now, I want to focus your attention to when you arrived at Father McAvoy Park. Do you remember arriving there?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember how it's a complex, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
it's pretty big.
Okay. Do you remember how you gained entry into the park?
On that particular morning, we came in through Lowry. We went west, and at the entrance of that park, that certain area to the soccer fields, there is a gate to the left. And that gate on that particular morning, it was open. So that's how we gained entry into that area that we called the soccer fields.
Okay. If I can ask him to step down, Your Honor, just to show the jury his
You may
location.
step down.
Thank you.
I'm going to hold this up for you and ask you to.
Once again, let's just start over here. I don't want to
Okay.
interrupt with the court.
Come over here.
Yes.
Please. And hold it right there. Wait a minute, I'm not going to mark this. Okay. All right, so can you orient us here?
Yes, we came down Allen. From Allen, we went west towards the entrance to this area. That's the end of Lowry. And then to the left is the gate that's usually at the time, up until that time, it was usually locked. That particular morning it was open, so we went into the park through that area, which we call the soccer field.
Okay. Judge, has this one been withdrawn so you can mark it?
Yes, I think it's, what number is that?
Number does it say up there? 97.
Yes, it's been withdrawn. You haven't readmitted it yet.
Okay, so you can mark it.
Yes.
Okay, I do see some issues there. Okay, so I want you to with this black pen mark where you entered the park, you said on Lowry. Yeah.
There's a gate, so through this area.
Show me an arrow. Oh, draw an arrow.
Eh,
Okay, put your initials above that. Okay, and can you show us where the gate is?
The gate should be somewhere around this area, sir, as well.
Okay.
I don't know if you want me to.
Yeah, draw a line where you think the gate is.
It should be right at the entrance. As soon as you take a left, there's a gate right there.
Okay. From here, where did you go?
We went south, and at the time there was a Connex box here. That's where we parked in this little parking lot area. We reversed into that area.
Is it in here?
Yes, this area.
Okay. So you can put a P there where, or
Yes.
where you parked? Okay. Did you reverse into this area?
Yes, I did. My truck was facing east into the neighborhood.
Okay. I'll put your initials right there. Okay, and how long were you parked there?
No more than 5 minutes.
What were you doing?
We were going to laminate some maps that I had assigned my trainee that morning. He did not complete the mission over the weekend, so we were going to laminate them with packaging tape.
Okay. Were you supposed to be in this area?
Not initially, no, sir. We ended up there by pure coincidence.
Okay. The time that you were there, did you end up moving your vehicle at any time after parking it?
Only after, at the time, Mr. Burgos asked me for my assistance.
Okay. And we'll get into that, but now that I have you standing here,
Yes.
you say he asked you for assistance. Where would you have moved from here?
From here, I would have moved to this area,
Okay.
which is south towards what we call the Bettis property over here.
Did you drive or walk?
We drove, sir, once he asked for my assistance.
Okay, so show me the direction you drove.
We drove across the field.
Oh, you cut through the field?
Yes, to the soccer fields.
Where did you cut to?
Through here, there's a dip.
Uh-huh.
And then once we get, because this area is, at the time there was a bunch of brush and trees. There still is. But at the time we came through this dip, I remember I went around, I guess, I don't know if you want to mark. This is where I parked.
Yeah.
When I came to his assistance, I saw his truck on this side and I parked directly across him.
Okay, so this is, without marking it,
Yes.
there's two markings here, which is the general area where these vehicles were.
Yes.
Do you remember this island?
Yes, I do.
All right.
So I would have parked there initially when I came across.
Okay. All right. That's all for now.
Yes.
Have a seat.
Thank you.
So going back to where you were, you said you went in there, you reversed in to that area next to the soccer field or next to the Connex box. You were there with Smith, you said.
Yes.
Laminating maps. What, if anything, happens while you're laminating?
We commenced to do that, and no more than 5 minutes later, my trainee, Smitty, says, hey, there's another kilo coming in. So
What's a kilo?
it's a Ford F-150.
Okay. What happens?
I look over and I see the kilo driving on the same Lowry's, driving west, and it kind of slows down as it comes to us, and we eventually find out it's Mr. Burgos.
You come in contact with Supervisor Burgos?
Yes, after he parks to, I guess, our passenger side.
Okay. And what happens next?
We call it, he slow rolls to us. I am facing the neighborhood. His truck is facing, when he parks to our passenger side, his truck is facing the river. We lower our window, he lowers his passenger window, and I go ahead and tell my trainee, hey, it's Supervisor Burgos. And at that moment in time, he's grabbing onto his steering wheel, and he's just looking over quietly, kind of just like leaning over. And I told my trainee, hey, it's Supervisor Burgos. I tell him, hey, sir, we heard you're going to be short-handed. We're going to be in the area if you need it. We're just going to be laminating maps. So he's quiet, and he looks at his phone, and then he says, hey, they just told me to 22, base 2, which means go back to the station. And he's like, do you know if there's a way out this way, which means south?
That south is past the soccer field?
Yes, it's towards that Pettis property where I guess there's that little dip that goes to an ATV trail.
To the brush?
Yes. So I told him at the time I did not remember. So I told him, to be honest, I don't remember. And he's like, it's okay. I was like, something to the effect like, that's okay, I'll go find out or something like that. So when he leaves, we raise our window, and then I told my trainee, like, you know what, Schmitty, I just remembered that they're building apartments. I think that area where he's trying to get out is blocked. So I'm like, it sucks to be him, let him find out the hard way. And we continue doing our thing, laminating maps.
After you said that it sucks to be him, what happened?
We continue laminating maps, he's cutting the maps. I'm trying to laminate them with the packaging tape. And no more than a minute and a half, less than 2 minutes later, we hear him over the actual radio. And when we hear Lara, Lara, something to the effect like, I need you. That's Lara, Lara, get over here. So as soon as I hear my name, Lara, Lara, with some urgency, I drop what we're doing and we drive across the soccer fields to his position.
You hear him calling for help. You arrive on scene.
Yes, when I get to that dip, we hit it pretty hard. Everything flies all over the place, and I can feel my tires slipping. It's like not enough traction's going. So I hit it pretty hard, like we come around, and as I get around the brush, the ATV trail, I could see on the other side of where he's parked, I can see his overhead lights, his red and blues. So he's parked like in a circular area. He parks on the other side, and I park on the opposite side of him. That's where I eventually meet up with him.
Go ahead.
Show you where it's been marked as dates, exhibit 77. Do you recognize the CD?
Yes.
Have you been able to hear the transmission from that day?
Yes.
You're able to identify the voices in this transmission?
Yes.
Move to introduce dates exhibit 77.
State 77, being offered. Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Be admitted without objection.
Permission to play the transmission.
You may publish. Yeah, play. Are you going to play?
Yes, we're loading.
Water. Here. Hmm?
No cameras, 247.
We'll do it right after this. Mr. Dunn, we're going to take the opportunity to, there's indication by the jury that they need a quick break, so before you play, maybe you can work the kinks out of that while they're out on break. All right, give me about five, give me a quick break, guys. 5. And you were about to play exhibit 77. We're going to start with 77.1, is that correct? Which is inside of 77. Very good. When you're ready.
Lara, copy, dictate.
Pause it. Did you just hear that?
Yes, sir.
And what does that mean? Lara, 6-8.
Just star number. We don't have badge numbers, so that's how we're identified. It should be November 6-6, I think was the star number. But when he says that Lara November, his star number, that pretty much says Lara star number copy. That means, do you copy me? Do you hear me? So, yes.
Let it play, then you can explain any of the codes or whatever it is. It's,
Lara, copy 6-8.
That it?
Hey, bro, I need your help right here, bro. My Bristol, man. And I'm 46-8. I'm gonna need EMS ASAP at the end of Bristol. River Road.
At the end of Bristol, River Road.
Bristol at the River Road, the ATV trail.
What's the traffic?
And this is subject here needs help ASAP.
Yeah, what's the traffic, sir? What's the situation? What kind of EMS are we requesting?
940, I don't know yet. Stand by. Let me go check. Just have them come over here.
It's Bristol, the River Road. That's there in the Delwood area.
Yeah, 10-4.
Therefore, we'll be sending back for information on the subject.
There'll be female subject. Stand by. There's a lot of blood. We're trying to see if it's a head laceration or.
Therefore.
Hey, 68-247. I'll be heading away from the triple case.
all right, so you heard, what channel are you all on the transmission?
We are what's called Moss Tower. That'll be the tower for Laredo North, sir.
Did you recognize the voices on that?
Yes.
Transmission? What was going on there?
At the time, I did not know what was going on. When he called me Lara, I get to his position. It doesn't take me more than a minute and a half. I get there. I see his truck with his overhead lights turned on. I start making my way to Mr. Burgos when I see him looking down the ATV trail, looking south. His body is standing outside of the truck with radio in hand, just looking down the ATV trail. So when I'm making my way to Mr. Burgos' truck, I see him looking south, so I look south and I see the silhouette of the victim.
Can I have him display on the map where he saw this?
You want him to come down?
Yeah, can you come down?
You can step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
On 101, Your Honor, we wanted to go ahead and withdraw 101. So that we can,
101 was one of the exhibits that was already, it's already been withdrawn, yes.
Very good, so you can stand over here. Take this pen, yes. Okay. So, you had described in your previous testimony about a dip. Is that, what, do you see that dip where you entered, or is it not on
It should be in this area.
the? Okay. So you enter, you can show the jury how you drove in.
We drove across soccer fields. We hit the dip. I get enough traction to get over. At the time, Mr. Burgos is parked on this side was his kilo truck. So I go ahead and park on the opposite side. So eventually when I'm trying to make my way to him, I see him looking down south towards the ATV trail. That's when I look over and see the silhouette of the victim.
At any time, do you aware of another kilo unit coming also, arriving and parking behind Burgos?
After the fact,
Yeah,
it was
so-
Agent Dennison.
Okay, so there would have been,
At the time, it was just him and myself.
okay, but, so after, you got there before Agent Dennison,
Yes.
So if you can indicate where you would best approximate Burgos' kilo unit was when you arrived with a B for Burgos.
Somewhere here.
Okay. And put a K for kilo. BK right here next to it. Okay. And where did you put your kilo unit?
It should have been directly across from him.
Okay, so you can put more or less your last name or your initial. Okay. And the kilo unit there, right, K. And where did Dennison ultimately park his
It
vehicle?
should have been behind Mr. Burgos.
Okay, so put a D there for Dennison. Okay, and put the K for kilo unit. Okay. So now, describe and indicate for the jury what you saw.
Initially, all I could see was his overhead lights through the brush. At the time, it was pretty high brush, but I could still see enough of his kilos. I see the overheads. I don't know what I'm expecting. All I heard is that he called me. It sounded urgent, so my job is to get there as fast as I can. So I parked there. I'm looking over towards him, and that's when he's outside of his truck, looking south, the ATV trail.
South is towards me.
Yes, towards the Pettis property. There is a house over here, a landmark that we refer to as the Pettis property. So when I get there, he's looking south. So I look south and I see the silhouette of the young woman. So I completely forget about Mr. Burgos and I start running towards the victim.
Is off this island, where would the victim's body be more or less?
Somewhere in this area. Because this is the island, so it would have been like around right
Somewhere
here.
around here?
Yes.
Okay. So then what do you do when you see the victim?
As soon as I see the victim, I approach and I start yelling, like, "Señora, señora, despierta, estás despierta. Ma'am, wake up." Because at this time, all I see is blood. I told my trainee, I call him Schmitty. I like, "Schmitty, is that what I think I'm looking at?" And I see the silhouette and I immediately start running towards her. And that's when I tell him, like, I start yelling at her, "Estás despierta, are you awake?" So at that time, initially, right away, I said, "Sir, do you have any gloves?" Which he said, "No, I do not."
Who did you say that to?
Initially, I asked Mr. Burgos, "Do you have any gloves?" He's like, "No, I do not." So I say, "I don't have any gloves." And I asked my trainee, Schmitty, "Do you have any gloves?" And thankfully, being the great agent that he was, he did have a pair of gloves. So he goes ahead and tells me, like, "Sir, I have gloves." So I take them both. I grab one and I give one to Mr. Burgos. I put the glove as best as I can, immediately check for a pulse. I don't feel a pulse. Before anything, I'm radioing everything in to, initially, before I even touch her, I radio everything into our station, base 2, and I'm telling them what we're seeing.
Hold on, Agent Lara. I think
Yes.
you can take the stand. I think this is good for now. Take the stand.
Thank you, sir.
Continue over there.
Appreciate it.
So continue. You're radioing in the intel that you have, right?
Yes. Radio in that we have a female. I'm not sure at the time. I think I tell them, "Let me see if it's a laceration or a head wound." All I know is that I'm seeing a woman covered in blood. There's blood on the ground. So I tell them to stand by. I put on the glove as best as I can, and I immediately check for a pulse. I don't feel a pulse. I look at my fingers, and they're covered in blood because I checked her neck area. So I don't feel a pulse. So I immediately see her left wrist. It's facing up. I check her wrist, and again, I do not feel a pulse. Right away, I tell Mr. Burgos, "Sir, I think she's 10-7, which means that she's dead." And he's like, "Yeah, it looks that way." So I'm radioing everything into our station, and I'm letting them know what I'm seeing. So I told our station, "We have a female that appears to be deceased." And I'm telling them there's blood to the top of her head, to the left, to the body. There's blood splatter all over. The blood's a little bit coagulated. And at that moment, the supervisor at the station I believe Supervisor Ali tells me, okay, take a step back and treat it as a crime scene.
What is Burgos doing at this time?
At this time, he's standing there. Not really. The supervisor normally takes control of the situation and radios in everything to the station. Once again, he's quiet. I'm the one relaying everything that I'm seeing to the station. I'm processing everything in. I'm taking it in. And I'm telling them what I'm seeing. And right away, I start telling the camera operator to start scanning the river. I tell him, scan the river, see if you see anybody going back. Scan the Mexican side on the ridges, see if you see anybody out there. I hear the boat patrolling the area, and they ask if we want them to come to our area, which I tell them, of course, come up, try to check the landings where they come up, try to see if you see any tracks, any sign, any mud. I believe also a helicopter pilot reached out to us over the radio, and he asked if we wanted them to give us a flyby. I believe at the time they were coming back to Laredo to refuel. So we tell them to go ahead, please come into the area. And the impression that I got from the pilot at the time was that he's fairly new, because he did not really know where the Pettis property was. So I do remember I told him, come fly south of the river until you get to what's called the CPNL, the Central Power Light Company. And I told him, if you come south, eventually you should see all the vehicles, overheads or whatnot.
Okay, so giving all these transmissions, you already checked for a pulse.
Yes.
Does Mr. Burgos do anything around this time?
Not at that time, no sir.
What else do you see him do at any time? At any time did you see him touch the body?
After I sent my agent Schmitty to go to Allen Street in Bristol to open the gate for the paramedics, I believe he took my truck. So for a moment there, we're by ourselves. After that's when I see him move the body.
Okay, and when you say move the body, can you demonstrate for us, if the court will allow you to come down here and demonstrate
Yes.
how you move the body? County Judge? Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. At the time, I'm standing next to the victim. I check her. Mr. Burgos is standing over here I guess on the other side of her. So I tell him she's 10-7, which means she's dead. Radio everything in. I told base 2, I think she's dead. They tell me take a step back, treat her as a crime scene. So before anything, I told my trainee, go to the gate and open it for the paramedics. He takes off. So before I take a step back, I'm surprised to see so much blood. So I grab my head and I'm like, where is all this blood coming from? So at that moment, Mr. Burgos is like, cuts in front of me. He's like, let's find out. He grabs her from the bicep area, grabs her from the hip area, picks her up, looks at her, puts her back down. He does that, and my eyes were wide open. I was like, what is going on? And I take a step back. At the time he picks her up, I could see the shadow of her face. It's full of dirt. I could see her hair over her face, but I do not get a clear picture of her. But I am so freaking out and in shock because I don't know what I'm looking at. So he puts her back down, goes back over her. He's like, you know what? This stuff makes me nervous. I'm gonna go back down this way, and he points south again towards the Pettis property. And he walks away, and I see him with his phone in his hand. He's doing something. At the time, I'm thinking he's gonna call base 2, but from what I understand, he never did.
Permission to publish the transmissions that he made reference to.
Are you gonna do all three, all the rest, the other two, 77.2 and .3?
That's the remainder of 77.1.
All right,
What he just explained.
go ahead.
Hey, Cameron, did you start to scan the river, bro? She's on the dirt road. We don't know if you test that in the calculated. Blood somewhere from the head area.
They're working for a team getting, but I don't see no movement.
Hey, November unit with that traffic, copy Omaha 7 Hotel Sierra. Can we assist you with anything? Are you looking for somebody?
Hey, Omaha, you copied? I think they're on walkie there, but I believe they encountered one subject, I guess bleeding. Yeah, if you could make your way down there just to see if they have additional traffic.
10-4, what was the 20?
Yeah, it's going to be at the end of Bristol, down towards the ATV trail at the end of Bristol.
Okay, Roger, 13.
November 16th, 940, if you copy, IMS is Supervisor, 13.
Yeah, 10-4, I'm here with Lara. Any of the agents heading this way, just stand by. Stand by.
Hey, we're gonna try to...
Hey, 6-8, copy Davis.
Any unit by World Trade. There's 2 subjects from DD 8147 down river side of the World Trade, and timestamp is signal.
Hey, 940, copy base 2. Can you notify LPD if you have not done so to respond to that traffic as well at the end of Bristol?
Yeah, PD and EMS Supervisor. They're both fast, simultaneously.
Now, after he said he walked away south towards the Bettis property, you said he was messing with his phone. What if anything else did you see him do, or what happened?
He goes south, I lose him down the ATV trail for a few moments. Eventually he comes back, because I lose sight of him around a curve. A few moments later, he comes back with a tennis shoe, and he's grabbing him by the shoelace. And he's coming back with the tennis shoe towards my position. I didn't think nothing of it at first, so I'm like, I asked him, hey sir, what do you have there? What do you got there? He's like, oh, I found this shoe in the brush. In my mind, I'm, okay, he found his shoe. Same thing, I didn't think nothing of it. So he's walking back. And what shocked me was that he put it at the base of her feet, and he just put it there. So again, he puts it there, and as soon as he does that, he starts dragging his feet, kind of like when you're skiing. He's just dragging his feet to the point where he's picking up dirt. Once again, I'm like, I don't understand what I'm looking at, because I specifically told him there's blood over here to the right of the head, over here to the left. There's blood splatter exactly where he was picking up the dirt. So I'm just processing this quietly and just making mental notes, because at the time he was my supervisor in charge of me. So in my mind, I'm nobody to be telling him what to do. He tells me what to do. I am a field training officer at this time, but as a supervisor, he's in charge of me. So I remained quiet. By this time, I believe Agent Dennison and Schmitty and I think Agent Herndon are coming back to the scene with the paramedics. And at that time, everything just starts happening.
All right, let me stop you right there. I'm gonna show you, this is a graphic photo. I'm gonna show you this graphic photo. We can turn on the... Can you identify what you just testified to, what you described?
Yes, sir. That is the victim, the young woman. At the base of her feet is that shoe that Mr. Burgos placed after he came back from the trail.
Okay. I'm gonna show you 131. You recognize that shoe?
Yes.
Your Honor, we have the shoe. We filed the chain of custody affidavit, permission to show Agent Lara the shoe.
Is it tagged?
Yes. Tag.
What's the exhibit? What's the
Your Honor,
exhibit?
this is State's Exhibit 37.
Okay.
This was previously marked as State's Exhibit 37.
All right, it's not admitted yet, so.
And, but we do have our affidavit of chain of custody filed. And we've moved to admit State's Exhibit 37. Move to introduce it now.
Any objection to 37? States 37.
No objection, Your Honor.
Admitted.
I ask you to put these on.
Yes.
Ready, sir.
I'm gonna show you what came out of the bags that mark State's Exhibit 37. Ask you if you recognize the shoe.
Yes, that is a shoe that Mr. Burgos brought back to the scene.
Is it the left shoe or the right shoe? What can you
This
tell
is the
us?
left. Not muddied, not dirty.
You notice that there's been a cut.
Yes.
Did you make that cut on that?
No, I did not.
Okay. That would have been done by law enforcement, or you don't know?
I would not know.
Okay. this shoe was not near the body when you arrived?
No, it was not.
After he drops the shoe, what, if anything, happens next?
Once again, he places his shoe, and immediately after, he starts dragging his feet. Dirt starts picking up a bit. So to me, that was, of course, not procedure, not protocol. In fact, to me, it was very strange that he was doing that.
Why? Why was it strange to you in that moment?
Because we were already told specifically not to tamper with the crime scene. We were told take a step back, treat it as a crime scene. And then being a supervisor and us being Border Patrol agents, we received training in crime scene management. So we kind of know what to do and what specifically what not to do.
Now, I'm going to show you what's been marked as States 182, and it is a graphic photo. This is right. Is that where vantage point are we looking at this from?
We are on the north side from here. We are looking south towards the ATV trail. The bettest property of the house will be back further south around the trail.
You're standing near, is this vantage point from the island looking that way?
Yeah, I want to say yes.
On that, when I say island, I'm talking about where these two
Where-
roads come around.
Yes, the island would be back here.
Okay, so that would be the vantage point.
Yes, sir.
And you see the object that's in there as well.
The shoe.
Okay. So this is after the police have already placed the tape, correct?
Correct, sir.
So his treatment of the crime scene, you testify that is confusing to you, correct?
Yes.
What else, if anything, happens after that?
After he does all that, I'm still standing there on that same grassy little island. That's when Agent Dennison, Agent Herndon, and Schmitty are coming back in with the paramedics. As soon as the paramedics arrive, they grab their equipment, they place those little pads on her body and start checking for signs of life.
And any time that you're there with Supervisor Agent Burgos, does he indicate that he knows this person?
Not once.
So after the paramedics get there, what, if anything, did you do?
I'm still standing there. The paramedics finish checking her for life. One of them approaches me. And just to get confirmation for myself, I asked one of the paramedics, is she dead? And he says, we would not have stopped working on her if she was still alive.
Are you still wearing your gloves at this time?
No, at that time, as soon as I checked her pulse, I took them off, and I kind of just dropped them around the top of her head, somewhere in the brush. When the paramedic comes up to me and he says that, I look over to the young woman and I look at the crime scene and I told the paramedic, my gloves are there, I'm contaminating the scene. So he's like, it's understandable. So I go back and I grab the glove and I'm holding it, and at the time I don't know what to do with the glove that's bloodied. So I see both trucks, Mr. Burgos in the front, I believe it's Mr. Dennison in the back, so I just go to the first truck I see and I just put it in the back of the bed. At the time, I had no idea that he knew her. No indication of anything whatsoever. All I knew is that, hey, we're the good guys. Supervisor Burgos at the time, I'm doing everything. I'm checking for life. In my mind, I'm thinking he's got my back as a law enforcement agent. He's watching my back. So I didn't think anything of it. So when I grabbed the glove, I just go over and I put it there just for safekeeping.
In the back of his kilo?
In the back of the bed of his kilo, yes, sir.
Okay. Does he make any phone calls while you're there to headquarters or for anything or do anything?
Not at that moment, no, sir.
Did you see any cell phones on the victim, or did he tell you he found any cell phones?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you get to write a statement for the Laredo Police Department?
Yes, sir. On scene, I made an affidavit, a quick synopsis of what happened, the encounter.
Did you write one or did you write two?
On the scene, I wrote one, and at the police station, I wrote a second, like an addendum.
Now, Burgos bringing over the shoe, did that violate any protocols that you have?
Yes.
Which is what?
Disturbing the crime scene. In my mind, planting evidence.
Did he ever give you any instructions to look for any subjects, go patrol, go investigate, check the riverbanks? Did he give you any orders?
No, sir. I was just doing what the supervisor at the station told me to do, was take a step back and treat it as a crime scene.
Did you go to the police station that afternoon or the next day?
It was that afternoon, sir.
Okay. And were you interviewed?
Yes, we were told, my trainee and I were told to give our official statement at the police station.
Were you involved in any way in the discovery of the baby?
No, sir.
Why not?
Because at that time, I was on top of Mr. Dennison's truck doing my affidavit.
So the only person that you saw dead was the female, correct?
Yes, correct.
I'm going to pass the witness at this time.
Any questions from the defense? Yes, okay. All right. Mr. Boggs, go ahead.
I apologize. Can I? Exhibit number 37. What it was.
States? Oh, yes.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Do you still have gloves, sir?
No, sir, I do not.
You too.
Thank you.
Just need one?
One, sir?
Okay.
Yes.
I'm passing This is the exhibit you previously examined, number 37, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And that is the shoe that you saw Supervisor Burgos-Aviles place at the foot of the victim, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and there is, you can see, where does it say memory foam?
Memory foam?
Yes, sir.
It'll be on the bottom, sir. I'm sorry. It'll be in the insole, on the heel.
So, and when you say the bottom, do you mean the inside? Of
The inside,
shoe?
yes, of the
Okay.
foam. I'm sorry.
Okay. And how big?
You're taking it off, you're gonna grab it again, I think. Just wanna save some time.
It's true. I am, but it's just habit. My hands are sweaty. So I just want the record to be clear. It's inside the shoe. There's nowhere outside of the shoe that you can see the memory foam. Is that correct?
That's the only place I can see right now, sir.
Okay. And so, and is that big writing that it says memory foam?
It's pretty big, yes.
And I'm finished with the exam.
You wanna go grab it, I guess?
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
And you gave a statement to the police the next day, is that correct?
The same afternoon, sir. Same day.
The same day.
Correct.
And do you recall making that statement?
Yes.
To the police?
Yes.
And today, you told us that Mr. Supervisor Burgos-Aviles was dragging his feet. Correct?
Yes.
Now, had you ever encountered a murder scene in the time that you've been a Border Patrol agent?
No.
Okay. So I think you'd indicated to everyone that this was and I don't want to put words in your mouth, so correct me, but it seemed like this was an overwhelming scene. There was a lot of blood.
I've dealt with blood, but the sight of the murdered woman was pretty traumatic.
So, so I understand that it was traumatic.
Yes.
But in the statement that you gave that same day, you never mentioned that Mr. Burgos-Aviles dragged his feet, did you?
Not till the second statement.
Okay. And by second statement, you mean the written statement, is that correct?
The addendum, yes.
Okay. It wasn't in the initial interview with the police that you said that Mr. Burgos-Aviles dragged his feet, correct?
The first one, just a brief synopsis. When we went to the station, we actually gave our verbal official statement. That's when I mentioned it.
Okay. And you would recognize a transcription of your verbal statement, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Okay. Permission to approach. And I've marked this as Defense Exhibit 3. And sir, that is 49 pages, correct?
It says 149, yes.
Okay. And you just told me that you said in that oral statement that you said that Mr. Burgos-Aviles dragged his feet in that original one. It is 49 pages, so it's quite long. But could you show me where in that statement where you said that originally?
Go ahead and look for it.
Yes, Your Honor. This time, sir, I do not see it.
So, and I want to make sure I understand that by today's testimony, when you said that you saw Supervisor Burgos-Aviles dragging his feet, carrying the tennis shoe, it was just you and he on the scene at that time?
Yes.
Okay. So Officer Smith, the trainee, wasn't present at that time, correct?
Correct.
And Officer Dennison was not present at that time, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so the day of the incident, you'd already learned that Supervisor Burgos-Aviles was a suspect. You made a statement to the police, and in that statement to the police, you never mentioned him dragging his feet, correct?
Unless it was in the written statement that I put it.
I apologize, officer, just if I could have one of And so, as I understand, Officer, you said you made an initial statement, which was just a summary.
Yes.
And then the next day you added, was it the next day or later that day?
Later that afternoon.
Later that same afternoon. And so the initial summary was before you knew that Burgos-Aviles, Supervisor Burgos-Aviles was a suspect. Is that correct?
One of the supervisors on scene had told me that he was their prime suspect. At the time, I thought it was because of the bloody glove that I put in the back of his kilo. I did not have confirmation that he was actually the main suspect until around 6:30 that night, when another detective pretty much told me. The whole day I had my phone on me. As far as like when we were at the police station, I was getting calls and texts, and I would just glance at it, put it down, glance at it, put it down. Somebody's texting me, put it down. I didn't think nothing of it. After we're done with our questioning, about 5 hours later, around 6:30, when I'm released from the interview room, I go to the lobby of the police station. I am sitting next to Border Patrol Agent Herndon. I get a phone call from my team leader. My team leader tells me, hey, we already activated the Border Patrol unions, the lawyers for you. Before you make any statements, we already got lawyers. And I'm like, we already made our official statement. He was surprised. He's like, oh, you did? I'm like, yes. He's like, before he hangs up, he's like, just so you know, there's a rumor saying that the dead woman is Burgos' side chick. I'm like, all right, 10-4, let me call you back. I told Agent Herndon, hey bro, there's a rumor saying that the dead woman is Burgos', I use the word Sancha. At that moment, we're talking, another detective comes out, a big man. I know him as a boxer. He comes out, and I tell him, I still have my phone in my hand, I tell him, sir, we just heard a rumor that the dead woman is Burgos' side chick. The detective said, side chick, that's his baby mama. And there's a possibility the dead boy is his son. That's when everything just, I broke down is the word. Everything just, I felt like this weight on my shoulder and I started crying. Because there I am thinking.
Wait. Wait for the next question.
Excuse me.
Should we take a break? Just a moment.
I'm good, sir. Here I'm thinking we're supposed to be the good guys. He's supposed to be watching my back.
Hold on. Give me 1 second, sir.
And I broke. I was heartbroken.
1 second, Agent. Just going to question answer basis, Mr.
I'm good, sir.
Boggs.
Thank you, Your Honor. I was heartbroken.
1 second, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
Give me a second, sir. We're going to take a short break.
Yes, Your Honor.
Please rise for the jury.
To make sure that there's a record of what occurred before the break.
There is a... Everybody keep it down, please. We're on the record. I believe that this is what I assume. Everything that actually happens in court is on the record, but go ahead and summarize what you believe should be on the record.
For the record, just before the break, there was a pause in the witness's cross-examination. Mr. Boggs was searching for documents, and Your Honor suggested that perhaps he proceed in a question and answer fashion. While he continued to search for the documents that he needed, the witness continued unprompted, injected his personal feelings about what he perceived at the time that had nothing to do with the evidence that was at issue. He made a statement that he believed they were supposed to be the good guys, and he began to cry on the stand, at which point the victim's family understandably also became emotional, but then had an outburst and said, "Thank you, yes, exactly." There was loud sobbing from the audience. And we believe, Your Honor, at this time we're going to move for a mistrial. The occurrence was extremely prejudicial. It was not just an outburst by a witness, but it was also from the audience. So the double impact cannot be cured, we don't believe, by any instruction by Your Honor. This is also further prejudicial because it occurred during the merits phase of the trial rather than the penalty phase, which is a factor that CCA has considered. And when Your Honor has discretion to consider a motion for a mistrial, there are many factors to be considered, including the nature of the outburst, as well as whether the outburst created a substantial likelihood that the jury would be prejudiced. Your Honor, this was an extremely emotional moment in the courtroom, and I don't believe any jury would be able to disregard that, and to refuse to grant a mistrial at the time would violate Mr. Burgos-Aviles' rights under due process, and his right to a fair trial and an impartial jury under both the Texas and the federal constitutions.
All right. Any response?
Yes, Your Honor, we respectfully disagree with the defense's position. Although Mr. Lara's testimony was emotional, it was elicited by Mr. Boggs. Rather than stop after the transcript in which he was unable to locate his previous statement regarding the dragging of his feet, he continued. Then there was no objection made by Mr. Boggs. The witness was under the impression that he could continue to answer. He was giving his answer. It's an emotional case. We've already had multiple witnesses that have come up here and cried during their testimony based on what they saw that day, the trauma, the horrific nature, the gruesomeness, all the blood that was there at the crime scene. In the gallery, yes, there were some reactions in the gallery, but I do not think to the level where they would, as defense counsel said, would affect the jury. This is a highly emotional case already. The court can instruct the jury to disregard whatever they may have heard. We don't believe it rises to that level to declare a mistrial.
Right. You know, I try really hard to not, you know, I don't want to say interject or interfere. I try to be the person that just is, you know, wearing the, calling the balls and strikes. You know, we're in baseball season right now, right? It's, and at times I do look at counsel table and think, hey, you know, maybe I do it inadvertently, you know, when I think perhaps there should be somebody, you know, calling something out. And I did that in this situation when the witness kept on going. Mr. Boggs was just looking at him, and the witness kept on responding to a question in a long-winded fashion. And I kept on looking at Mr. Boggs. I even glanced at other counsel at the table to see if anybody was going to say anything. I saw other counsel reaching out to Mr. Boggs to see if, and I don't know what they were talking about, but I thought they were maybe talking about whether or not somebody should object. And I kept on looking over there. When nobody said anything, that's when I said, let's go, Mr. Boggs, let's proceed in a question-answer basis. And this was after, and but I never instructed the witness to stop. When he said that, that's when I told him to wait a second, wait for the question. So I think there was ample opportunity for the defense team to stop the witness from testifying further. But in any event, I don't see it as a very light situation. I do have to make sure that we present to, in this case, a fair presentation of the evidence to this jury. The defendant deserves that, and the rules call for that. So in any event, in measuring what in fact occurred, I'm not quite sure the summary of everything that you said quite happened in that particular manner and with that type of emphasis, but there was in fact something of that nature close to what you in fact summarized. Obviously the record may not reflect the moans or whatnot that might have been coming from the gallery, but there was some. It wasn't very loud, but there was some. I certainly appreciate your objection now. I wish that there would have been somebody objected to beforehand. But in any event, Your motion for mistrial is denied. Thank you.
Your Honor, we would also request very respectfully and with understanding that this is a terrible matter for everyone involved, that Your Honor remind the audience to please.
I will do that now, in fact. Thank you. Two things I'm going to instruct right now. One is the witness. Agent Lara, please answer the questions that are posed to you, and only the questions posed to you, and then stop after the question has been answered by you. This is not a session where in fact, if somebody asks for your opinion on something, there's probably going to be an objection of some sort. So it's not a forum to be able to, in fact, give your opinion on what you may think of a situation like that, unless in fact it's called for under the rules, and in fact that was not called for.
Yes, Your
Instruct you
Honor.
then to answer the questions posed to you, and only the questions, sir. To the audience in the gallery, in either way that you sit, I understand the loss. I don't put myself in your shoes, but I definitely understand the loss that you feel. You've been here at almost every hearing, in fact, 99.9% of all the hearings, and this is the days and weeks that you were waiting for to be able to give closure to this part of your lives, and I certainly understand, and I can't even know, maybe I shouldn't say that, I can't even begin to understand the pain that you may be suffering. However, I don't want to do this again. No one wants to go through this again. And the more of that occurs, the more that possibility grows. So please refrain from comments and I'm not saying you can't whisper to somebody something or whatever, but I'm talking about where the jury may hear you. I don't want any of that. If you don't think that you're going to be able to do so, and I certainly understand that you will, if you will not, then please excuse yourself and go outside. I know it's hard to do. I'm sitting here talking to you like if not knowing and not ever being in the type of shoes that you are in, and I'm not trying to substitute for that. But I'm only here to do this job, right?